Thank you very much. I think INEC is being biased here and then also afraid because the coalition is here to defeat the APC come 2027 election. So what we are saying is just like INEC working hand in hand with the APC government. I don't understand. These are political parties or groups who are trying to come and form a party and then give it a platform for the Nigerians to vote for a new faces and a new choice of their own choice. So if you are now telling me that INEC are now saying, no, they have not met the requirements, they refuse to acknowledge any of these applicants. How many of them? More than 70. Are you telling me all the 70 are wrong? Are you saying that all the 70 applicants have filed, do not do not come and complain with the whole requirements for them to be created as a new party? You know, by law, when you send a request to INEC on the new party, if INEC if INEC acknowledge you, and within after 90 days, you are assumed to be registered automatically. But what we are saying now is this government, is INEC now working hand in hand with the APC? What are they afraid of? Is it the coalition? Quite sure Nigerians are tired. They want a new government. The APC government have failed Nigerians woefully, and they're doing nothing about it because there's no any changes. This is 2 years down and nothing to show on the ground for all Nigerians. What are we saying? Busy suffering, people dying on a daily basis, unemployment, so on and so forth. So we, the coalition, we are pushing to see that INEC accepts these requests, register us as a new party, so that come 2027, we can give Nigerians the real dividend of the government they are looking for.
Mr. Kalgo.
But unfortunately, INEC is afraid, or I would say APC is afraid, or I would say they are working hand in hand. Because I fail to understand what is so difficult about all these issues.
Mr. Kalgo,
there's no anything wrong about registering a new party.
Has the coalition met the requirement? I'd like you to be clear, please. Has the coalition met the requirement, and yet INEC has not given it feedback on its registration request?
Absolutely. We are law-abiding citizens. We know all the requirements INEC are looking for, and we have submitted all these things. Why are they afraid of us? Is it because they are afraid of the theme of Atiku, Obi, Amechi, and others? So I think INEC is being biased here. INEC is afraid. And I think one of the biggest problems we're having in this country is INEC first. Not even the president himself, the Aswaja administration. INEC must do the right thing. Whether they like it or not, Nigerians have to force INEC to do the right thing, because INEC will either one of these days put this country into chaos.
All right,
people are tired.
You
cannot subject people into suffering.
All right.
You cannot make it a one-party system.
All right, Mr. Kagbo, let's bring in Mr. Nwago. Mr. Nwago, I'd like you to weigh in on this, because there are layers of unpacking we need to do. And you have worked closely. You've been on the field. I don't know how many elections you've covered, but several of them. You know how this game is played. You understand the nuances around it. Picking back from what Mr. Kagbo has said, INEC has said, look, there are laid down procedure. There is the party registration guideline and the registration in the guideline of INEC 2022 that is written in English of all the processes on how to register a political party. But the opposition now is accusing INEC of not being willing to register them. INEC has said that is not the case here. What do you make of what is playing out here from your own neutral point of view?
Well, thank you. I just think that it's going to be very dangerous to continue to allow politicians to give us talking points. One of the things that needs to happen will be to always ensure that we dig deeper when they put up issues. For instance, if INEC says you have not fulfilled the conditions for registration. What to do will not be to say, oh, you are afraid of us. What will be correct will be to show Nigerians in evidential terms that you have fulfilled those, that you have a constitution, and that constitution arose from the processes that would lead you to have a constitution. You don't just sit down and write a constitution, do a desktop printing of the constitution. There are processes that lead to it. You have to provide evidence that all those took place. And I would be happy to find the promoters of the new party come clear, not just in terms of to say, look, these are the things that we have done, and INEC has refused. Because INEC, I would want to be on the side of the INEC, because INEC is a law, is a creation of the law. And if INEC, by any means, is breaching the law, you can also approach the court and say, we have fulfilled what the law says we should do, and INEC has. And in everything that I've seen, I don't know anywhere that people have gone to court to compel INEC to register them having fulfilled the condition. That is number one. Number two, I don't think the promoters of the coalition can successfully be called opposition. Opposition is not an individual. You don't, at best for now, they are non-governmental individuals, or if they have formed an organization, they are non-governmental organizations. The contemplation of opposition will be political parties, registered political parties. And as we know now, there are 18 thereabout of them that are opposition political parties. And in the National Assembly, 46% of the House of Representatives is made up of the opposition political parties. And in the Senate, you have about 22%, 21% of members of the Senate who are in opposition. So when there are individuals who are not any new kid on the block, because some of the promoters of these things are also people who are in political parties, who have been in the dominant political party, who have governed the country at a particular period in time, and everything for which they are promoting these new parties happened under their care. Some of them have been governors for 8 years, some of them have been chairmen of boards, some of them have been even chairmen of political parties. So the truth is that we would have to understand what the motivation for promoting new parties, when there are 18 political parties that can drive the same issues they have been driving all these past 22 years, or 25 years of being in this.
Mr. Kaba, well, let's come back to you, Mr. Azenwa has raised a very important concern here. I think we have about 19 political parties, 18, 19 political parties. Why do we need a new political party or a set of new political parties? Mr. Kakbo, if you can hear me, I was saying that we already have almost 20 political parties. Why do we need a new platform or a new political party again?
All the other political parties have been compromised. And the APC government is doing all it takes to see that we did not get a very good platform to contest, to fight against them in 2027. So if you look at all these political parties, some of them are either working for APC indirectly or directly. And we want to have a platform where we are more comfortable, where we can do and undo, and we can set our own constitution rights, where we can make it, we don't want a situation whereby we have to have any issues with the National Working Committee of the existing party or any party that have any issue before in the courts or anything like that. We want to have a fresh start. We want to have a fresh party whereby there's no any cases of a National Working Committee, no any court cases, nothing like that, so that we can be the one to set our constitutional rights. We can be the one to set our National Working Committee down to state ESCO, down to local government ESCO as well. This is one of the reasons why we're trying to create a new party. And why is INEC holding on to this? Why is this so difficult? What is there? It's just a new political party. This is politics. All of us must not be in the APC. We don't have to be in the APC. People are tired of the government of the APC. They want a new change. Yeah, we know some of them have been governors, vice presidents, some of them even chairman of the party. Yeah, but if you look at their record, you see clearly that when Amechi was governor of Rivers State, that was the best time you can see a best governor. That was the best governor in Rivers State till date. And then when you look at the former vice presidents, I was one of the most acting vice president who have done so many things, so many good things for this country. There are so many things, if I can begin to name them, I'll take much of your time. And then we have people like Nasir El-Rufai. The best time Kaduna had was during Nasir El-Rufai. So these are the kind of people that Nigeria wants to be in government. And the APC government knew that if these people come together under one platform, they are going to defeat them. They are going to unseat the Tinubu administration. That is what they are all afraid of, and that is why INEC is dancing to their tune now.
Well, my own question will be in the reverse, and this is to Mr. Nwagu. The opposition is saying that INEC, since it registered over 70 political parties about 4 years ago, hasn't registered new parties, and that there is a need, for more formation of political parties for expression, for political expression. Is there any limit to the number of political parties that can operate in Nigeria?
But indeed, my personal position is that INEC has no business registering political parties, and I'll tell you why. If you have freedom of association, freedom of assembly guaranteed by the Constitution, my quick take would be to say that INEC should ordinarily just place conditions under which people can appear on the ballot, rather than getting into the brouhaha of registration. But having said that, there is a law guiding how organizations can become political parties. And I'm saying, if truly anyone thinks that there's a breach, of the law by the regulator, regulator of political parties and the registrar of political parties in Nigeria, the thing to do is to avail Nigerians of the opportunity that, look, laws have been breached. We have approached the court to compel INEC to do the needful. And if that has not happened and we are having, politics, we are politicking around the registration of political parties. And I really think that Honorable, is not fair to the other political parties by, saying that they have been compromised. I think it is something that is not fair to say, because those political parties exist in their own rights. I'm very close, working very closely to many of those political parties. And just recently, I've invited the chairman of IPAC and others to a program that I host on another station. And I understand from them also that the challenge they have is that some of these people who want to take over their political parties are coming in with viruses that they also don't want. And that is why they are elbowing them and making sure that they don't have access to their political parties. But more importantly is to say that in other places, in the US, for instance, there are more than 400 political parties. Only about 14 or 13 come on the ballot. You even have what you call American Marijuana Party. All kinds of political parties exist, but you cannot come on the ballot except there are conditions with which. And right now, INEC is saying for you to even remain on the ballot, you have to fulfill certain conditions. I think you have to win how many state assemblies and the rest of them. So the promoters of this political party have a bigger work to do. The bigger work to do will be to say, if you have fulfilled the conditions, you can bring your promoters to Channels TV, show evidence that you have done so, not just by verbal conversations in the way, and that in the breach of that and.
Oh dear, we seem to have had an interruption in the feed from our guests in Abuja. We'll try to rectify that as much as possible. But, you know, Mr. Nwagu's line of thought is pretty interesting. And if we cast our minds back to 2013, there were contentions also over the delay in the registration of the All Progressives Congress at the time, with a statement put out by INEC under the leadership of the former boss, Professor Tahiru Jega, that nothing could be further from the truth, that there are procedures to registering a political party, and those procedures must indeed be followed. And we know that the APC is, you know, an aggregation, or if you like, a conglomeration of different political parties. So if that is what is playing out, you know, with this coalition led by key actors from different political parties under this administration, would it be, you know, in line with democratic principles to deny them expression as well? Mr. Nwagu, please go ahead and land on your thoughts, and perhaps you want to respond to some of the latest projections about what is happening now.
I think we should talk in terms of your right to gather, your right to assembly, your right, all of that, right, none of it have been breached, because the coalition folks have been meeting, they have been, but there are conditions for registration. What we need to determine is to be clear whether they have met those conditions. If they have met those conditions, I don't see what INEC will benefit by not registering them. Let's be clear. In the 2023 election, the president of the country lost election in his state of origin and lost in his state of residence. I think it's very important to, because by the time you want to give the impression that this INEC is working hand in hand with the position party, you have to provide some clear-cut evidence so that you don't malign an institution, you know, just for the purpose of promoting whatever political interest that you have. You will also remember that the FCT election that held in the same APC lost woefully in almost 3 local governments, you know, as a dominant political party in elections conducted by this same INEC. So we have to be more nuanced in how we put out our public institutions and put a feeling of, you know, distrust, create distrust in the mind of the public about their regulatory powers. So I would think, quite frankly, that what will be fair will be to show evidence that these conditions have been fulfilled and that INEC has refused to register. But your right to association, your right to assembly, I think that is freely going on. But we have a regulator, we have a registrar of political parties, and it is in their, you know, within their books to be able to say, this is how you can become a political party. And it is also in the right of the politicians to use whatever means they can to be able to, you know, get registered, but they must also fulfill the law.
All right, Zakabo, your closing thoughts. Now that this is the situation, it takes quite some time. If you look at the guideline, if you look at INEC's guideline, it takes quite some time for you to be able to put together the process of registering a political party. I've looked through some of those guidelines. It's almost a race against time because we're less than 2 years to the next general election, if you will. What is the next line of action for the coalition now?
It's one of the tactics INEC is using to frustrate us because primaries should likely start by early next year, and if you look at it, the time frame is not suitable for us. We, the coalition team, we will do all it takes. We'll make sure that we push hard for INEC to do the right thing. We want INEC to do the right thing before even the election. INEC must be on its feet. INEC must do what is needful. INEC must be free and fair. Let it be as independent as it's supposed to be. They don't have the time, or they choose not to respond to all the applicants, not only us, including others, but they have the time to go and launch, to allow the FCDA to build them a new building. So I think they are doing all this intentionally. They are doing this to frustrate us, but they won't frustrate us. We are ready, we are determined, and we know what to do. Either ways, we have other options. But INEC must do the right thing, and election must end at the polling units, not in court, 2027. Thank you.
Indeed, and that would be a fine place to anchor this particular conversation. Of course, with the reminder from Mr. Nwagu to you that you should also present evidence that indeed you have met all of the conditions that INEC is requiring to register you. And we hope that when next we call on you, you'll be presenting that to us. Of course, also articulating your manifesto. We must thank you very much, gentlemen, for your time on the program. We've been talking with Mr. Ibrahim Kalgo, member of the People's Democratic Party, and of course a key member of the proposed coalition to unseat the APC in 2027. We've also had Mr. Ezenwa Nwagu, chairperson, Partners for Electoral Reform, and board member of Yaga Africa. Thank you very much, gentlemen, for your time on the program.
Thank you for having us.
And from here, we'll head over to River State. Well, not literally, but to reflect on recent developments in that state with regards to the continued state of emergency in that state 3 months after it was first imposed. Get to know more about those issues when we return from this break. We'll be right back.